Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to a new episode of This Week on Martha's Vineyard. I'm Emmeline Reed, and we're going to dive into your news for what's been going on. Our top headline first, the sea streak from New Bedford to the island to going into Vineyard Haven is now going to be year-round. Now, there is still limited information on this as the schedule is still being approved, but as of right now, it looks like instead of closing on October 11th, like it usually does, 2 daily round trips will be available from New Bedford through Vineyard Haven through December 31st. And a second schedule is being discussed that would have trips going through April. Now, this is a big deal because for commuters going into that New Bedford, Fairhaven area, it means missing that Bourne and Sagamore Bridge. And that is a really big deal again because there's a ton of construction work that's going to be done on these bridges coming up. So there's a lot of conversation around that. This is definitely a way that it will make it easier on those commuters going back and forth. Also, in Martha's Vineyard News this week, we are making the movie The Jaws documentary. So this is one that's going to be coming up, and you've probably seen the movie about 9 million times, if not more. You probably know a lot of the history behind it, but what's interesting about this documentary is they are specifically looking to speak with island residents to discuss their perspective, their history, things they know, and things they experienced. So this is going to be running filming through 2024. If anyone is interested, make sure you keep an eye out for Making the Monster. It will be making its debut in 2025. So that's your news on Martha's Vineyard for this week. We are going to head to a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back to find out what is up this week at the Strand with Frank.
For great American cuisine, visit 11th Circuit on Circuit Ave in Oak Bluffs. There you will find a welcome and friendly environment, indoor and outdoor dining, and the best locally sourced dishes on the island. 11th Circuit is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the hungry bar crowd. Next time you're in Oak Bluffs, come visit 11th Circuit on Circuit Ave.
A blistering day on the island can quickly turn into a cool retreat at sea with MV Ocean Sports' dynamic array of water sport activities. From parasailing high above the Vineyard Sound to skimming across its glassy surface on your very own jet ski, MV Ocean Sports has everything fun for everyone. MV Ocean Sports focuses on fun activities the whole family can participate in, including water skiing, wakeboarding, kneeboarding, and tubing. Open daily with sunset specials. Visit mvoceansports.com for more information. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Monday morning or Friday night, from barbecues to birthday parties, and from rainy days to beach days, Tony's Market has what you need. Check out our daily deli specials and a huge selection of beer and wine.
Dockside Jewelers at the Dockside Marketplace in Oak Bluffs has as much sparkle as the vineyard water on a perfect summer day, offering a wide variety of handcrafted vineyard charms, bracelets, necklaces, and more.
To the island's most flavorful chicken wings and the famous Tuesday night lobster fest. Coupe de Ville has been serving locals and visitors for over 30 years in Oak Bluffs. With the Shuck Shack Raw Bar and over 100 beers on tap, Coupe de Ville is the place where you may arrive as a stranger, but you will leave as a friend.
Located in the Edgartown Triangle, Trader Fred's is a discount haven for locals and tourists. From fishing bait to boogie boards to bikinis, Fred's has what you need. If you didn't find what you wanted, then you must have missed it.
Step back in time. The Edgartown Diner at 65 Main Street offers classic, delicious comfort food at affordable prices. Serving breakfast all day, lunch, and dinner. Discover why everyone loves the Edgartown Diner.
Okay, we are here live at the Strand Theater, and I'm here. My name is Frank Colosso, here to report to you some of the events we're going to have here at the Strand. We're starting our fall and winter movie series now, so we're getting back in motion. So September the 30th, 12 p.m. and 3 p.m., we have the Mario Brothers. So bring your children out so they can come and enjoy the Mario Brothers. And we're going to have popcorn and snacks and all those things. So it's something good to do. Also, October the 7th, we call that our music series. Seriously Red at 1 p.m. With Dolly Parton. We have Elvis at 4 o'clock. And then we have I Wanna Dance at 7 p.m. with Whitney Houston. October the 21st. So we're getting close to Halloween, guys. So The Joker is going to be at 3 o'clock p.m. and 7 o'clock p.m. It's going to be showing. October the 28th. We have at 3 o'clock an oldie but a goodie, E.T. When was the last time you saw E.T.? So come out and see it on the big screen. I enjoyed the movie when it came out, and I definitely am going to enjoy it on the big screen. Then we have the original Frankenstein, and that's an oldie but a goodie, one of the classics. November 11th, we have at 3 p.m. A Few Good Men, one of my favorite movies, A Few Good Men. Come on out and see it, even if you've seen it before, to see it on the big screen and to see these phenomenal actors in A Few Good Men is just fantastic. And then I saved this one for last. We have the Strand Jam. So the Strand Jam is a jam where we bring musicians from around the island together, and then they come and they just jam out like one big party where they just jam out. It's like 13 bands that come up and they just play music. Everybody plays a couple songs, then we on to the next one and on to the next one. It's a lot of fun. Come on out, meet the musicians, and you'd be surprised what kind of phenomenal musicians we have here on the island. So come to the Strand to find out. And we actually have a clip of the last Strand Jam just to give you a little taste of what's to happen on that particular day.
Swipes down the counter and tosses the floor. Picks up the payphone, puts in a dime. Hello, how are you? Yeah, I miss you too. But I'm not coming back there this time. Never let them see you cry. Go and fix your makeup when it's just to break up when I go crazy and start acting like a lady. Cause I break you better, gotta keep it together even when you fall apart. But is it my mother's broken heart? I had a picture in mind in love's like fighting a war. No one comes back the same.
So everybody, that's a taste of the Strand Jam. But hey, we're gonna have about 2 hours of good music like that. So come on through the Strand. If you forgot some of the things I said, strandtheatermv.com. You can go to the website. And now we're gonna go to Emma.
Hey, thanks, Frank. Those all look like they're going to be a lot of fun. So, Strand Jam, I'm a little salty that I'm going to be missing it. But for anybody that is going to be in town, definitely something that you should be checking out for sure. So, now we're going to introduce Ralston, our guest for this evening. Ralston, I'm really excited to talk with you tonight. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good, Emma. How about you?
Pretty good. Can't complain. Can't complain. I know one of the things that we are going to hop into for this week that we're talking about is the big buzz on Islanders talk this week. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody seems to have, a different opinion on it. But, the new rules for Oak Bluff's businesses are now at 12:30 a.m. last call in a 1 a.m. closing time with a hard stop. This is ruffling a lot of feathers and people have a lot of different opinions, but as the owner of 11th Circuit, I would love to hear from you. How did you feel when this news was announced, and what kind of impact do you think that this will have on local businesses?
I mean, for me personally, I don't feel good about it. I don't agree with it. But I mean, it coming from the police department, they're understaffed. But I mean, if they get staff in the summertime, then we're looking for ways that we can improve it so they can at least do it for the summertime. Where at least they do it in phases. So, like, say from May to October, they'll go to 1. And then for the winter season, they go back to 12:30. So we're gonna see if they'll do something like that. But financially, it's a big hit because it's just 30 minutes, but it's a good 30 minutes. It's the last part of the night. People are coming out, especially we have like the industry workers leaving work. Some of them leaving late. Everybody wanna go out and have a little fun. So that's nearly the time to come out as well. And even with like the wedding parties and stuff. So it affects us greatly.
And when you're saying that there's, a financial difference that you're going to see, are we talking like hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars? How big is this disparity?
It's a huge, like 15, 20%. No, it's huge. Because it's the last of the night. So, everybody want to get in their last drink. Everybody just coming from somewhere else. So just want to pop into the bar, have a last drink. So, yeah, no, it's a big deal.
And I know we've heard, like we were saying before, a lot of arguments kind of for and against. This is something that one of the quotes we saw was that this could make it, an Eggertown too. So this is something that's done, all over the island. I'm sure you heard that quote.
Yeah,
What were
yeah,
you
I heard that
thinking
was
when you
the.
heard it?
I get down to, I mean, because remember, tourists coming to the island, they're gonna, because back in the days until now, Oak Bluff is known as the party town. Some people don't like that, but it's more vibrant. So you have guests that book more hotels and stuff in OB just because of the nightlife. And then you have clothing stores, other restaurants that's gonna get hit by it because now everybody gonna say, well, why not just stay in Egerton? Because it's the same closing time. Why not just do all the weddings in Egerton? Why we're gonna pay like the trolleys to come all the way back to OB when they can just stay here? So it's gonna affect it greatly.
And one of the things that I know Colin brought up earlier tonight when we were talking about it is just, the fact that, you could go from having all your fun at the bar and entertainment to being like, all right, now it's time to kind of stock our home bar because we're going to be going back to our residence. If things are going to close early and we want to keep the party going, we kind of do have to take it home. But what does that mean for your surrounding community and what does that mean basically for local homeowners and businesses? So, Colin, what were your thoughts on that you wanted to kind of pop in and share on this?
Well, for one thing, B1 is there for a reason. I've always said this. It's like, that's where all business is supposed to be unrestricted. So when you start, taking, curtailing what happens in that area, and it's going to spread out to the community, people aren't just going to stop drinking because you say stop drinking at 12:30. So they'll probably end up going to having more late night parties. That means more people driving, more people potentially driving intoxicated. And then they'll be out in the communities making more noise instead of in the B1 district where it's supposed to be. So I think that that they probably should revisit that. And certainly, it's hard enough to make a living out here. You can keep putting more and more expenses on business owners with, I mean, I just remember the insurance costs a lot, the fire suppression systems and everything else that just keep getting more and more requirements, and to curtail their income while you're adding more stuff, eventually it's just gonna be a situation that's not tenable. My opinion.
Yeah, no,
I don't
and
even
it's
drink in the
totally
bar,
valid
so
because one of the things that we're thinking too is, I understand that in reading that article, one of the things that they were saying was the fact that, they have that shift change right at 2 a.m. So what are people going to realistically, do? They want to make sure that if anything's happening in the in-between, that they're not missing coverage. Um, is there a better way that we could do this? Is there a different way? I mean, would it help if we did the opposite and, stayed open even later just to make sure that, there were fresh, boots on the ground for that next shift change that are prepared to deal with any situations that might arise? I mean, what are some alternatives that would kind of keep everybody happy, I guess, and kind of meet both standards?
well, I think the the police are there to, and I shouldn't say this, I'll get stopped on the way home. But they're there to protect and serve, right? They should adapt their schedule to what's happening in the community, not the other way around. Again, it's my opinion, but certainly there needs to be more talk about it. And Islanders Talk is an area where
Yeah, because I mean, they say they're short staff, right? Sure, we get it. They're short staff, but look at it this way too, because there are various ways they can look at it. When the bars are closing at 12:30, and people start having more house parties, it's gonna pop up. House parties does shut off at 1. A lot of house parties go even later. So now they're gonna be moving out of the business part, where all the business are, so they can get a call all the way over New York Ave, all the way over East Chap, somewhere else. So now they're even spread more, even thinner. So now it's gonna be even worse for the department also, because they're gonna get a lot more calls. There's gonna be a lot more house parties coming up and popping up all over.
it's a good point. I mean, that's why the zoning is the way it is to contain certain businesses to certain areas. And there's a lot of talk. This season there was a big to do about backdoor donuts, and there was somebody. I guess it was. I think there was some misinformation there, but
Yeah.
there was one woman who complained, but I guess it wasn't really her. But in any case, it had to do with the noise of everybody waiting to get donuts, which I still can't believe happens. But
It's a tradition.
I know. I mean, literally, that's how old I am. Is that like we used to go to the back door and knock on it and get food out of the back there before backdoor donuts was anything official. It was just our friends were working there. And we used to buy a bag of donuts from them and eat it right there. So, jump forward to it's weird to see it in the garden in Boston. It's like it's become a thing. But in any case, my point then and now is, there's a lot of places that you can live, that you can have home offices, you can do agriculture, you can do all of these different things, but there's a small portion that's B1, and that B1 area should be protected. That's where the businesses make their money, and you can't kind of take a stronger opinion of people outside of that area. If they wanted to live somewhere quiet, then they shouldn't be in a B1 district, in my opinion.
And that was one of the comments that came up a lot. Was there were a couple very loud voices that were saying, we live here, we should have peace and quiet. And that was something that also came up in Woods Hole a couple of years ago. If you remember when it came into, the big trucks, like the big Stop and Shop trucks going over for the morning on the ferry, it was a really big deal because a lot of the homeowners in Woods Hole were complaining, well, the loud trucks in the morning and the ship's horn going off, it's just a lot. And it kind of goes back to that topic of, it's difficult because I do think that there are some people that have lived there before times have changed, things are different, the communities are growing, but I guess it raises the question of, if you're choosing to continue to live in this area, then and the landscape changes, then what happens,
Just sell out, move to Florida. No, I'm kidding. But
I think a lot of people have done that.
yeah. No, I mean, certainly you can make an effort to make commercial areas better for people that live in there or near there. But, there's only so much space for commercial and business use. And I'm sorry, that's the way it goes. I mean, that's zoning.
Yeah, and at least we're controlled, It's just basically three large establishments. You have the Ritz, the Loft, you have us, the 11. We're just right across the road. So it's like we're controlled,
Now, Ralston, what have you heard from your staff on this? Has anyone been having conversations this week about what this could mean?
Yeah, it's going to be a big hit for them because that's the time to make a lot of tips also. So a lot of people are worried here and there. So to just see how it plays out.
Well, we'll have to make sure we follow Islanders talk to see how it plays out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm thinking, if this does kind of take that turn and go that direction, and where everyone's closing early, are there any other options, like anything else that we can do to kind of supplement that revenue? Has that conversation started of like any other ideas of, okay, well, if we can't do this, we can do that, or is it kind of too early to start having those conversations, do you think?
I mean, gotta just sell food until 1. Gonna have to think of ways. Maybe we're gonna think of that way, Because normally we should have food at 10. So maybe another way to look at it now is just serve food until 1. So they're inside.
But that means later hours for your cooks.
Yeah, later hours for the cook too. So it's like, here's the effects all over. We just have to try it, see if it work. If it work, it work. If it doesn't, just have to just roll with it.
Seems like there should be more discussion about it.
Yeah.
I think they need to get back together and work on it. And it seemed like it suddenly came up too. Like I didn't even know it was really in the works, and then all of a sudden it was the talk of the
back
town.
in April it was decided, but even then I wasn't on the scene as yet until in May, and then it was already decided. So they decided to revisit it. So I think we can go back, have more discussions. See, the best thing to do. Let's see what we can do over the winter to keep on the right path. Hopefully we have no incidents and stuff like that, and then we can try back in the spring and see.
Now, what did you see this summer in terms of incidents that you were just kind of bringing up? Was there a lot downtown that maybe you think expedited this decision? I know that they had decided in May to kind of wait until now, but how did the summer go? Was that something you think they were waiting to see?
Yeah, think what they did. They based it off the winter because they have incidents in the winter. So I think they based it off that. So it wasn't really necessarily the summer. Because this summer, my establishment, I think we only had one issue, one fight all summer. That was reported.
That's a pretty good record for downtown OB.
Yeah.
That says something.
Yeah. Because we have security. I have like 4 securities every night. So we're always trying to keep it together.
So that's an interesting concept too. If business owners were to invest a little bit more in private security to take pressure off of local police, would that be an option?
I think so. I think it can work. But I think maybe what the police are worried about is when they leave and they're heading home.
It's pretty valid, yeah.
So we can do as much as we can with the establishment But it's just if they get more staff, as they say, then we can see how we go from there.
Well, it's definitely the talk of the town. I mean, literally on Islander stock. This is the biggest topic of the week. Is there anything else that you guys, have seen that you wanted to kind of bring up and chat about? Anything that's been new with business, Ralston, that you wanted to kind of hop on and discuss?
I mean, for me, for the winter, just gonna see. I'm gonna do weekends until the end of the year, and then in the winter time, I see if I can renovate, do something new coming up for the next summer.
Ooh, that's fun. Do you
Yeah,
have a
so
new, vibe that you're thinking, or just
yeah,
certain
I'm
things that
thinking a
you
new
just want to
vibe.
upgrade?
So yeah, gonna do some upgrade inside. Try to make it more nicer, more sleek. So we'll see.
It's funny with all these people here now. You would think that they would that there would be more going on year round, and there isn't. There's still seems like there's like the been an explosion of people that are living here over the winter now,
Yeah.
and yet far as I can see, all they do is drive around all day because the traffic is there. There's no parking spots, and yet there's not a lot going on. I mean, there's a lot more going on now in the fall, but it curtails as it goes closer to Christmas, and then you get to January and February and March. There's very little going on, even though there's a lot of people here.
Are they hibernating? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, I guess. I think, but I mean, whenever there is something going on, the people come out. I mean, that's been happening since way back. I mean, when they had the Chili Fest in January, and people would fly in private jets to go to this. I mean, it was a huge event. I don't know, Emma, does that predate you or?
It does. It
Yeah.
does.
I mean, I think it still goes on, but they moved it to May, and it just changed everything because it was. But it was like the hotels were full, and people were tens of.
Yeah, a lot
There's
of people
just
came
so
out.
many
It was
people
like a
here.
buzz. It was like a good buzz,
Yeah.
January for January.
So I feel like there's and that was for a while there going back back to Lola's. They used to have Fat Tuesdays from New Orleans, Frank, and there was a lot of people that went to that. That was full. So if it's one of those things like if you build it, they'll come. I think that there's more needs to be going on in the winter to attract people to do things and spend money, and the multiplier effect is going to help the community in the long run. Short
I
run
think I'm
too.
the only weirdo out here that really loves the quiet winters on the island. I love it. It's so nice and like peaceful, quiet. You can just walk down to the beach and just sit and no one's there. I know, even when it's snowing, I still want to go to the beach,
Since
but
when
I
is no
know,
one
I'm
there?
restrained.
You haven't been here in the winter in a while.
I know.
Yeah, I went to
That's
the
Well, I'm
beach the
saying
other
like
day. It was
back
people
in the
all
day,
over.
I enjoyed it a couple years ago, but it was like, oh, I could just get my coffee and go down and just sit there, and it was quiet, and I go to Copperwalk, and I knew there was always going to be, a table open, and it was a different world. It was a different world. I miss that.
Well, I remember back even further when you could, by this time of the year, you could drive across the island and not see another car. It was like, and you get into the dead of winter and there was nothing. I mean, it was really quiet out here. You could people would rent houses for $300 a month just to keep somebody in
Gosh, could
it.
you imagine? Could you imagine?
We used to do the island shuffle. People would rent a big house in the winter and then move into something small in the summer. But that's changed. I mean, Christ, now it's like just as expensive in the winter as it is in the summer.
It's like the same.
Yeah.
I will say, guys, I'm still looking for that 4th of July rental. If anybody hears of anyone, I'm still trying to find a rental for 4th of July of next year.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh,
Yeah, it's
it's
like
tough right now to find that for 4th of July.
It is, yeah. I think a lot of it's pricing too, because, I was like, all right, like, there's a certain budget where you're like, it's, pretty reasonable. You expect to spend a couple thousand, you know what it is. But a lot of them I think are heading into like the 6 to 8 thousand range, and I'm just like, for a week? Does it come with like a butler and a helipad, or like this is just what it is for 1 week? It's that I think is kind of insane.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that's just me. I know it's the reality of the world. You expect, I think, a couple thousand, but I think when it gets into like the 6, 8, 10, you're like, whoa.
yeah, and I think and then you can't even find it. That's that's the crazy part. But one of the
Yeah.
things that's a discussion for another time. But um, somebody brought this up and it made me pause because I guess somewhere, I'm not going to mention where, um, they've outlawed short-term rentals in a tourist community, and I wonder what would happen here if that happened. Because a lot of people. My other business is construction, and a lot of what we do is renovate houses that people bought to specifically to rent them out on Airbnb. And imagine if that business model's gone. What happens then?
I think it would have a huge impact on the housing market, I'll tell you that. Um,
Yeah.
huge
Tourism and
impact very
everything.
quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, in a lot of big cities they are, there, and then they kind of started with not allowing people in some of the big cities to do the Airbnbs like in the downtown area. So it's kind of restricted. But then when you go to a big city, who wants to stay on the outskirts? You want to stay in where the happenings are.
Yeah, well, then I guess you stay in a hotel if that's the case, right?
Right, I guess.
And not for nothing, but Island House is going to be doing renovation to be a hotel
Yeah.
Ooh.
at some point.
Yeah, some point down the road.
Well, technically, it is a hotel.
Yeah,
It's just
it is
been.
a hotel, yeah.
So you're the opposite. You have an actual short-term rental, and you kind of do it longer term,
Yeah.
seasonally.
Yeah, seasonally, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, it's your fault. So this weekend, first of all, I want to go back and mention something when Frank was talking about the stuff at the Strand, just so everybody knows. All of those movies are free. So bring your kids, bring yourselves, come here. It costs you popcorn and soda, and that's it. And they're, for some reason, I can't really understand. The owner of the Strand is doing all of these movies for free. So he wants to do something good for the community, and it is good. Imagine not having to pay for your weekend entertainment, especially when you have 2 or 3 movies in a row.
Exactly. And partly because, there's not a lot to do. So, everybody's looking for something to do, especially with their children and just a reason to get out.
So can anybody tell me this? Why is the bowling alley closed on Sundays? Like, wouldn't that be like the day that you would think that a bowling alley would stay open?
I would think
That's
Sundays
a
would be a
really good
prime
question.
day. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, close on Mondays or Sundays. Like, there's still people that work during the week. There's
It's almost like the church being closed on Sunday.
Yeah.
yeah, right.
I was just gonna say, is this religious reasons maybe? Like the owners and the
No,
staff get the day off for church, or
they used to be open on Sundays, and they stopped it for some reason. I guess most of their revenue comes from league bowling, but for families, it would be nice to be able to. You have to really think ahead to get a spot to bowl on a Saturday because, especially this like weekends when it's been raining, it's like if it's impossible. But yeah, Sunday would be helpful, especially they're trying to build their breakfast. Sunday's a big breakfast thing. So
all you need are mimosas. I mean, if you build it,
yeah,
all of us will come. All of us brunchers. We love brunch.
I bet you anything they'd be full on Sundays if they did it, but I guess they just want to take a break on that day.
Fall pumpkin spice mimosas, or like some kind of apple cider mimosa. There you go. Where else is like, let me take notes.
Right?
Well, he's gonna be. I mean, are you gonna be doing any more breakfast and brunch, or is that over?
Yeah, I'm going to do it Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
You are okay.
All the way through till end of December.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
sweet. All right.
And then at the diner, I'm open every day in October from 8 to 2. And then once it hit November, we open Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 8 to 2.
I heard you have like the most amazing bus runner there.
Yeah.
She's like just amazing. Does like an incredible job.
No, she is.
Her name is Adriana, and her last name's Young. No relation.
No
Yeah, she's
relation.
Conflict of interest.
my daughter. She does it. We come and visit her there. She does a really good job.
No, she does.
Yeah.
She does.
Paulson, do you have any good specials coming up this week?
Special coming up this week. Just have the regular, like Friday night, gonna have DJ Sumud B. And then Saturday, we have another DJ, like a hip hop night. And then Sunday, we're gonna have like a reggae party. So people can come out and support, yeah.
Love
Awesome.
reggae.
We haven't heard a lot about Halloween parties. Anybody planning those?
Yeah, we're gonna plan one. We're gonna do like a costume party. So it's in the works right now.
Nice. I'll be Beetlejuice. Come here, daughter, Chuck.
I feel like people are kind of slow getting into like the fall trend this year, and maybe it's just me. We weren't allowed to say the F word in my house until it was actually the first day of fall. But it's kind of that mid time where people are starting to scramble together. Okay, like when are we doing the apple picking? When are we doing the pumpkin picking? When are we going to be doing all of our Halloween stuff? Like what are we planning? I feel like it's such a short like window to try to plan all of those things and get it in.
Yeah, well, we all as Islanders have to go through our end of summer body failure phase first. You know, where it's a anybody who's lived here knows that feeling. It's like mono almost. You know, you've been going on adrenaline for so long that you get to that point and you just have to, you know, kind of struggle for a couple of weeks with, you know, the edge of a cold and you know, body aches and everything else, and then you kind of get through that, and then we get psyched up for the fall. I think that's where we're all kind of getting into now. Speaking of which, this weekend, you know, there's a lot of events that are like continuous, like the Bass of the Grass, and the Martha's Vineyard Museum has some cool things going on. But one of the things that's going on this weekend, which is a lot of fun, and it's a charity, which is up your alley, Emma, is the Lady Fest, which is in support of women, and the artists are women, and it is thrown. There's two stages: one at the bottom of Circuit Avenue, in front of the Ritz, and then another one by the Post Office Square. So they have bands in both places. They close off Circuit Avenue. It's a lot of fun. I went to it last year, and it goes on Saturday for pretty much all day or all afternoon, right? And night up until like 10 o'clock, and then there's an after party at the Ritz. And
I'm really bummed to be missing that. I wish I had caught that one sooner.
Next year.
I'm marking it in my little notebook right now. Marking it down, Lady Fest.
Yeah, one thing I didn't know till this year was that it originated in Washington or something, I think, or Oregon, and back in 2000, and it now goes on in various places all over the world. So it's not just, this is just a little chapter, you know. So it's kind of cool to be part of it.
You know, I really love the fact that the island seems like it's opening up a lot more to bigger festivals, bigger, you know, and like, for example, Beach Road and now Lady Fest. Like, I feel like the island has really been opening up a lot over the past 10 years or so to try to host bigger and larger events and be more accommodating. And part of that, I'm sure, has to do with the fact that there are, you know, more places to stay, as we were just talking about. But I think it's kind of amazing that there's a lot more different festivals and ways to, you know, bring in revenue and tourism even in the shoulder seasons, off seasons. What do you think of that?
I agree. I mean, it's heading in the right direction. I mean, I think it could be, if you're going to have the people here, you might as well be doing things. It was one thing, like you said, I loved it when it was quiet. You know, I mean, we used to it was for a while there. It was too quiet, but then it was for a long time. It was familiar in the off season. You know everybody that's here, and now it's different. There's ever since COVID, there was many people that moved here then. Some of them have kind of intertwined with the community, made themselves known. Some of them keep to themselves and just, like I said, drive around all day, but get in our way. But I think if you're going to have this many people here, you've got to put some events together and some things to do. And I think that some of these events that you're seeing come up, I guess there's, speaking of Beach Road, the same guy who runs Beach Road, Adam Epstein, he bought the was it the Food and Wine Festival or?
Did he really?
Yeah. Yep. And that's coming up soon. I think probably in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think like October 20th, somewhere around.
Yeah. And so look for that, and that's going to be something that's going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
But
Awesome.
so that's it, I think, for things going on this weekend. But it's a good one.
This should be a fun weekend.
Yeah.
And I meet a lot of people who are just artists who are just really, they just really want to showcase their art, and they just want to, they've been doing it for a while. And some people, when I actually have conversations with them about their story and their history, it's like they've done a lot. And then it's like they just want to let people know, hey, I do this, so I'm excited. I'm excited to see Lady Fest. I'm excited to see when they come to the Strand for Strand Jam and any and everything around here, the art of the arts, or anybody that can showcase any of their talents. I'm excited.
Did you say where the Strand Jam is?
I did. The Strand Jam is October the 27th.
27th. Okay. All right. I'm going to mark that down.
October the 27th. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well,
Sounds like a good one.
All right. Well,
All right. Well, I think that's pretty much all we have for this week on MV, unless anybody has anything else they want to pop in before we sign off.
I think we're good. We'll look forward to talking with everybody on the next edition.
Absolutely. Alrighty, thank you guys for everything. Hope you guys all have a great week on MV. Go check out Lady Fest. Go check out the Strand. Go check out 11th Circuit app this week.
All right.
All right. Bye, everybody.